Society from Maryland's Cafe Society. All right, everybody, welcome. All right, and have you been enjoying this summer-like weather here in the Midwest? Well, I guess across the country, although some places east, it's been a bit chilly, but nevertheless, we've had some wonderful, wonderful summer-like weather here in the Midwest area, and I have definitely been enjoying it. I started my flower gardens. I'm still kind of building it, so you know, it just feels good to kind of put your fingers in the dirt, so to speak. Well, anyway, how are you? Welcome to another edition of Maryland's Cafe Society Radio right here on the YouTube channel. Yeah, today is Tuesday. It is the 6th day of June 2023. Welcome to June, everybody. And so, we of course got through the birthday celebrations, and we're just gonna keep it moving. I tell you, keep it moving and try to do some new and exciting, adventurous things for the balance of 2023. So listen. We do have some cafe news, but before that, I do want to let you know that we have cafe talk for this show. That's right. And so I'll put it out there so you can think about it and jump on the comment section of the YouTube video and put your thoughts down. Or of course, later on, you can hit me up via email and or on the social media platforms and just kind of chime in. But here it is, Cafe Talk. What would you rather do other than make a customer service call? What would you rather do other than make a customer service call? And of course, there's a new survey out that says, well, you have to stay tuned. We'll talk about it later on in the show before we get out of here. But right now, let's jump into that cafe news. Now, listen, a few shows ago, I reported and talked about how some electric vehicle makers were leaning towards omitting the AM radio from their cars. Remember that conversation? And I talked about and shared my connection with AM radio and why I believed AM radio was still an important force and an important form of communication here in the United States and really around the world. And so, I kind of took the side that they should definitely continue to put the AM radio in the dashboards of these new electric vehicles that are, starting to be pushed out there in the masses. And so since then, so many others have become very vocal and supportive of keeping the AM radio in these electric vehicles, including media publisher and mogul Steve Forbes. Yeah, he chimed in. He's a big supporter of keeping the AM radio in the dashes of the electrical vehicles. And more recently, 6 major public safety groups band together, and they include big city emergency managers, the Council of State and Territorial Epidemiologists, the International Association of Emergency Managers. The list goes on, and they got together to call for the protection of AM radio. That's right. They sent a letter to Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell. And they expressed their concern about the automakers removing of the AM radio from their vehicles. Now, they urge support for the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. And that's what I want you guys to do. It's sort of a call to action from the Maryland's Cafe Society. Jump online, find out who you need to talk to or send an email to, but support that AM for Every Vehicle Act. It's so important that we do that. And so, what the act does is it requires automakers to include AM radio reception as a federal safety standard in all vehicles sold here in the United States. Also, in the letter, the group commended Ford Motor Company for their recent announcement committing to continue to include the AM radio in its 2024 model vehicles. And so they certainly hope that other electric vehicle automakers follow in suit. And, um, like so many other supporters of AM radio, this group stressed the importance of ensuring public safety for all Americans by making AM radio a standard and a free safety feature in all vehicles, not just the electronic or electric vehicles, but all vehicles. And really, as I said before, I think had had the automakers been able to do away with AM radio in their electric vehicles, it was just going to be the start of of the process of probably down the line, probably more sooner than later, of just doing away with AM radio altogether. And I think that, yeah, it's a dinosaur in terms of communications and how we've evolved and where we are right now with communications. But it's one form of communication that we cannot afford to lose. So join me, everybody, and make sure that you show support for AM radio for every vehicle act. All right. All right, and listen to this. The world's most notable global venture capital firm, called Sequoia, is breaking itself up. Yeah, I don't know why that song. What's the song? Down, doobie doo, down, down. Come on, down. Breaking up is hard to do. Well, this is a good thing for them, I guess. Of course, they're known for um, its early investment in United States tech companies like Airbnb and WhatsApp and Zoom, and of course those heavyweights internationally like ByteDance and GoChick. Well, several business news organizations are reporting that Sequoia is splitting into three fully distinct firms. And those are Sequoia Capital, which will be representing the United States and Europe, Hong Shan, which will be representing China, and then, of course, Peak 15 Partners, which will be representing India and Southeast Asia. And of course, all of these plans are in the work, and the completion date is set to be no later than March of 2024. And so there you go. Sometimes it's good to break up, I guess. In this case, they certainly have been around for a while and doing great things. So we'll see. It just sounds like they're splitting them up by continents, or um, what do you want to call it, through the various countries that they have strong presence. And so anyway, we'll continue to watch it and see how things develop, or what develops or becomes of it. All right, so Twitter has a new CEO. Have you heard? That's right, it's a her. Her name is Linda Yaccarino, and she, of course, replaced Elon Musk on yesterday. And um, I guess, things kind of sped up. Everything wasn't supposed to happen as quickly as it did, but yeah, is settling in as the new CEO of Twitter. And from what I'm reading, she's got her work cut out for her. The New York Times is reporting that Twitter's United States ad sales are down 59%. That's pretty bad. So we'll watch her and see how she works her magic. I think things will get much better because, of course, Elon Musk has his hands in so many different pots. And, to have that one person there to just focus solely on Twitter is a good thing. All right, Spotify laid off 200 people. Did you hear about that? That's about 2% of its staff. And of course, the purpose was to reorganize its podcast division. And yeah, I just hadn't paid a lot of attention to Spotify. So mm, uh, that's going to be interesting. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for the podcast division? Uh, if they're laid off, I guess it's not a good thing, right? But the good news is that, there's in that podcast world, there's so many other entities who have their hands in it. And so I'm sure these people will find work sooner rather than later. All right, and then Instagram has allowed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. back on their platform. He was banned back in February of 2021 for posting what they called vaccine misinformation. Now, for those who don't know, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has recently announced that he's running for president. And he also got a recent endorsement from Jack Dorsey, who was one of the original founders of Twitter. Others who are running for president who recently announced, political activist and academic um, scholar Cornel West has announced that he's running for president as a third party candidate to reintroduce America to the best of itself. He said in quotes. And of course, we all heard that Mike Pence has officially filed paperwork to make his run for president. So he's now in the mix. And of course, we'll stay on top of things and follow it and see how things develop. All right, and so we do have in other news today, only because I've been paying attention to the NBA finals. And so apparently, Shaquille O'Neal was doing an interview right before game two, which was this past Sunday of the NBA Finals. And he was interviewing NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. And during that interview, he hinted that there's going to be some expansion happening. The NBA is the second biggest pro league here in the United States. And so I think they have, what, 30 teams across the country? Well, anyway, he hinted that there could be an expansion to Seattle as well as Las Vegas. And of course, he said that the league had to first conduct some TV media negotiations, which won't be happening until spring of 2024. And so we'll keep our eye on that. That would be something, right? Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Seattle had a NBA team at one time, the Supersonics, right? Yeah, I think there's some history later on in this piece. I'm just kind of reading through it as I'm talking to you. Las Vegas is on the radar because, they are really, really becoming a sports city. And so in the past 5 years, they've added a National Hockey League team. I think it's called the Golden Knights. And they brought in the NFL's Oakland Raiders and could be getting a Major League baseball team from Oakland as well. And so it just makes sense, right? That they may as well go ahead and get into the NBA game. And so we'll see how things develop. Also, Seattle is trying to get back in the game, and yeah, it's they did have the Seattle Supersonics. I thought so, but they lost them back in 2008. I'm trying to remember where they went. Let me see if this article um, tells us where did the Seattle Supersonics land. Hmm. Yeah, I don't see that, but anyway, um, it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. Now, he also talked about at one point of expanding to Mexico City, which is just south of the United States border. But that's kind of sketchy because that presents a whole nother set of issues, and um, some of it, of course, um, dealing with potential international trade issues. So we'll watch that and see what happens. But yeah, everybody, that's what's going to happen with the NBA. They do have 30 teams, and they are definitely looking to expand to two more. Yeah, here it is. The Seattle Supersonics became the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. And then let's see. Um, yeah, I don't see anything about Las Vegas. So I think Las Vegas would be a newbie in the game. So anyway, there you have it. That's our in other news for this show in June. Now, for those who are following or not, the NBA Finals Game 3 will take place on Wednesday, June 7th in Miami. Game time is around 7:30 p.m. Central Daytime. And of course, it's going to air on ABC 7. You can also catch it on Sling TV as well as other digital platforms. The series now stands with Denver. Denver has one win, and Miami has one win. I caught some of that game Sunday night. Man, some folks thought that Denver was going to sweep Miami, and me and a close friend was talking about the series and how Denver kind of had the upper hand because their conference finals ended a whole week prior to Miami's, and so they were more rested than Miami. And then of course Denver has all these super players on their team. Not that Miami doesn't either, but anyway, folks were thinking, well, it's going to be another sweep, but I guess that 2 day rest did Miami some good after game one because they came back. It was a fight, but they came back and won on Sunday night. And so again, the series is tied, and you can catch game 3 tomorrow, Wednesday, June 7th on ABC 7, unless you're going to go down to Miami and catch it live and in person. All right. All right, so let's get to cafe talk before we get out of here today. And the question is, what would you rather do other than make a customer service call? Oh my goodness. What would you rather do other than make a customer service call? All right, and so there's a new survey by Interactions, a conversational AI software company that focuses on customer service. They polled about 1,000 consumers online here in the United States and asked what activities would they prefer doing over having to make a customer service phone call. And 38% of those polled said they would rather get a cavity filled. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, 38% said they would rather get a cavity filled before having to sit on the phone and make a customer service call. 35% said they would rather assemble an IKEA dresser. And 28% said they would rather burn their mouths on hot coffee. What? Is it that bad? Well, according to the chief marketing officer of Interactions, um, they say that customer service is at a 20-year low when it comes to consumers being satisfied. In fact, he said that the survey also revealed that consumers are just angry when it comes to having to make customer service calls, and they get very angry and agitated with the customer service agents. And so the survey said in just last year alone, 48% of consumers said they became angry while communicating with a customer service person on the phone. 38% said they hung up on customer service, and 33 said they raised their voice and or swore or cursed on a customer service call. And they noted that these were also AI agents or robots that they were talking to, but they raised their voice and swore at them. Man. So anyway, the whole point of this was to for companies to take a look at what areas they need to improve when it comes to customer service, especially on phone calls. Now, the article didn't say whether or not this included in-person customer service issues as well, but definitely on the telephone. And so the chief marketing officer said that the customer experience is at the forefront of these companies' minds and will remain so for the next 10 years. They'll be able to figure out how to get it right, because customer experience has become one of the top predictors of annual recurring revenue for companies. And so you want to get it right so that you don't lose, those customers or consumers. Now, one other consumer pet peeve that um, this survey showed was that 77% said waiting a long time on hold drove them crazy. 60% said it was driving them crazy when they were being transferred multiple times because they had to repeat what their issue was multiple times to different people. And 47% said that it was that was what drove them crazy, having to repeat themselves over and over again, especially to automated systems, those AI robots that you talk to sometimes that don't understand what you're saying. So, those are the numbers. And if you have a business that is heavy customer service oriented, hopefully this information will do you some good. All right. All right. And so, that question again out there for Cafe Talk is, what would you rather do other than make a customer service call? Just something to think about. And of course, you can comment on the comment section of the video or send an email to Marilyn's Cafe Society at yahoo.com, or just hit me up on social media where you see the video posted. All right. All right, everybody. Well, that is it. That concludes today's show. Of course, before we go, I want to remind you that we are in a new month. And so there's a new word that we can meditate on, focus on, and continue to learn. And that one, of course, is a repeat from 2021 and 2022. And it is Empyrean. Empyrean, which means relating to heaven or the sky. Empyrean, relating to heaven or the sky. All right. All right. And so remember to check out the website from time to time. Be sure to connect with me on the social media. There's a blog link as well to check out my latest blog. Of course, the YouTube video will be there. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share, everybody. And remember the email club, Mondays with Marilyn. Just send an email to Marilyn's Cafe Society at yahoo.com. And just in the notes section, say, sign me up, and I'll put you on that email and get it to you on every Monday. And speaking of that, on this past Mondays or yesterday's Mondays with Marilyn email, I sent this to my group, my email list. It's a quote I shared with them. And that quote reads, "You don't meet the people you love, you recognize them." And of course, it's by a French author, Anna Gavalda. And again, it says, "You don't meet the people you love, you recognize them." And I went, wow, that's heavy. That's heavy. You don't meet the people you love, you recognize them. So outside of your family and friends, people that you've known for as long as you've known yourself, that's an automatic love, right? But outside of that, as we journey through life and we meet other people, we don't meet people that we love, we recognize them, and so there's a familiarity, right? Whether it be spiritual, soulful, some kind of connection there that makes you recognize them to the extent that you love them. I thought that was so profound, and I shared it with them in the email, and just asked for folks to chime in, and I got a few responses. So anyway, I brought it up to tell you that that's what love is this month. Love is recognizing. Love is recognizing. That's right. You better recognize. All right. And of course, be cautious. You know, we got to be careful with who we love, but or figure out why we recognize them. Is it for the good or for the bad? And be able to discern and then proceed with the love that you shower on them. All right. All right, so love is recognizing. All right, and so I'll let you go now. And before I do want to remind you that you must live, you must laugh, and you must love. It's a pleasure and a privilege as always, and I will see you guys on the next show. Peace, everybody.